Welcome back to Mac Talks Football. It's match day 6 in Liga, and what a start to the season. We are having 5 games in, and Liga is currently at the moment the most tight knit, most tight league in Europe at the moment. At all top 5 teams are currently locked in, at 12 points. So it is, the start of the season is looking really, really exciting. And after what happened, the last weekend with the results that came in, it has really switched up the league. So let's go ahead and make our prediction for this weekend. And I hope with the games that we have for this weekend, let's hope there are more exciting results, just like last weekend. Starting off, it is the big one. It is Strasbourg versus Marseille. It is 4th versus 6th. Now Strasbourg have had a really good start to the season, 4 wins out of a possible 5. They won last weekend in quite an entertaining game with Paris FC winning 3-2 in the end. They are playing against a Marseille side who defeated PSG. The PSG's first defeat of the season, a massive win for Marseille, and they are right back in it. The start has been a bit quite off, but that win really would have given them confidence. They are on 10 points at the moment. Winning this one, they win this one, and they go straight to the top of the table with other teams playing later on. So it's a big game for in my opinion, and I think it is going to be a fun game as well. I'm expecting goals in this game. This game is it's the one where it could go either way. I'm really conflicted which side I want to go, but just because I have this a little bit soft spot for Strasbourg, because I like that underdog story, and I like what Rosner is doing at Strasbourg. So and they are the home side as well. So I'm going to give them the edge here. I think it will be a goals in this game. I think it will be entertaining, but I think Strasbourg are going to nick it, and I think they are going to win it with the same scoreline that they won the last week's game. I'm going for a 3-2 entertaining win for Strasbourg. Up next is Lorient versus Monaco. It is 17th versus 1st. Lorient, I mean, you sort of expected the start of the season which they are having. They are really struggling to cope up with a Liga. They drew their last weekend's game against Aliaga. It was a big game, but they were not really able to get a result. Monaco, on the other hand, they are top of the table at the moment. A massive win against Metz last weekend, 5-2. They thrashed them quite easily, and I think this weekend is going to be the same. Even though they are away, they are going to struggling Lorient, another promoted side, and I think Monaco are going to win this one. And again, as I said, it's going to be a comfortable win for Monaco. I'm going for a 4-0 thrashing for Monaco. Then it is Toulouse versus Nantes. It's 9th versus 16th. Toulouse, they started the season, with a couple of wins, but now it seems that reality is coming back. 3 defeats in a row. They're not looking good, to be very honest with you. They lost last weekend against Auxerre, 1-0 win, 1-0 defeat against Auxerre. They are playing against a known side who themselves are really struggling, and it's not a surprise. I expected them to struggle. They are on 16th, just 1 win. They drew last weekend against Rennes, a 2-0 draw. That was an entertaining game, but I think this game is going to be quite a tough one, especially for Nantes. They are going away to Toulouse, and they would want some sort of respite. They would want to end that losing streak, and I think they are going to be able to do it. I don't think we are going to get a winner here. I think it's going to be another draw, and I think it is going to be a boring game of football, but I still think we are going to get the goals, but not a winner. I'm going for a 1-0 draw between Toulouse and Nantes. Moving on, it is PSG versus Auxerre. It is 2nd versus 10th. PSG lost their first game of the season against Marseille, 1-0. That is going to sting a bit. That's their first defeat of the season, coming against their biggest rivals. So it was not a good day out, and they would want a result. They would want to get a response for their fans. They have recently had the Ballon d'Or winner in Ousmane Dembele, so there is some sort of happiness in the in the squad. They are playing against an Auxerre side who who won last weekend. They stopped the 3 match losing straight, defeating Toulouse 1-0. So it is a tricky one, to be very honest with you. Auxerre are not an easy opponent to face, but because PSG are at home, and the fact they lost last weekend, I think they are going to, as I said, they would the fans would want to respond, and they would like to give a response as well. And I think Auxerre are simply at the wrong place at the wrong time, in my opinion, and I think they are going to get destroyed quite easily. I'm going for a 3-0 win for PSG. Then it is Nice versus Paris. It is 12th versus 11th. Now Nice have been really inconsistent. If you look at their last 5 games, it is defeat, a win, defeat, win, and defeat. So if you are going by the the order they are they're supposed to win this game, they lost quite comprehensively. They basically got destroyed by struggling Brest last weekend, 4-1. That was quite an embarrassing defeat for Nice. They are playing against the Paris FC side, who have been quite entertaining. They lost last weekend, but before that it was a couple of wins on the bounce. And the game that they lost against Strasbourg. It was a 3-2 loss. It was not a one-sided game. It was quite an entertaining game. So the way that Nice are playing, I would not be surprised, if they end up losing this game as well. I'm expecting goals, and again, it's a tricky one to call, because I think it could go either way, and any one of those teams can win. And I think the way that Paris FC are playing with this, no fucks given attitude, like they are not really scared about anyone. I think it is going to be an entertaining game, and I think there are going to be goals in this game. I just don't see a winner out of this game, if I'm being very honest with you. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Nice and Paris FC. Then you have Lille versus Lyon. It is 5th versus 3rd. Lille, out of nowhere, they lost their first game of the season, and they basically got, a thrash by Lons, a 3-0. Quite a surprising result, in my opinion. I really did not see that coming. That stopped, their undefeated run. They are playing against a Lyon side who won the last weekend against a very tight game against Angers 1-0. So that, put them on top. Currently, they are 3rd in the table. So it is a very, a huge game, in my opinion. Both these teams you are fighting for, at the moment, let's say, for the title, but I think the main fight between these two teams is going to be for those European places. So it's an early 6-pointer for those European places. I think it will be a fun game. Again, it's a very, very hard one to call, if I'm being very honest with you, and that is why I'm going to stay on the fence. I am just not really able to pick either one of these two, because I really don't know which type of performance they are going to give. So that's why I'm going to stay on the fence. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Lille and Lyon. Then it is Angers versus Brest. It is 13 versus 14. Now Angers, they are winners in their last 4 games. They won on the opening day, but after that it has been a defeat, then 2 draws, and then they lost last weekend against Lyon, 1-0 defeat. They are playing against a Brest side who finally got their first win of the season by destroying Nice last weekend. So they are coming into this game with a bit of a confidence. Angers, on the other hand, as I said, they are winners in their last 4 games, and even though their defeats have not been that way, even though they lost last weekend, it was a very 1-0, very hard fought 1-0 loss. So they are still playing good football. They are the home side as well, and even though Brest are coming with a lot of confidence, I still think there's a chance that Angers might surprise Brest and get a win here, and I'm tilting towards that. Even though they have not won in the last 4 games, I just think with the home crowd and with the way that Brest are playing, even though last weekend's result was really good for Brest, I still think Angers are going to slightly go ahead and win this game. I'm expecting a very low scoring game here. It is going to be a very, very boring game, in my opinion, but I think Angers are going to make it in that. I'm going for a 1-0 win for Angers. Then it's an early 6-pointer game early on in the season. It's Metz versus Ligue, where it is 18th versus 15th. Now Metz are the only team in the league currently who are still winless. They have not been able to win a single game of football till now, and 5 games in, it is not looking good at the moment. They need to win this game, especially against a team like Ligue, who are going to be in a relegation fight with them come the end of the season, in my opinion. Ligue, on the other hand, they drew last weekend against a newly promoted side in Lorraine. 1-1, that was the result, and they are going away to Metz. Again, it's a massive game for both these sides, and Metz need to win this game. They have to win this game, in my opinion, but I don't think they are going to win it, if I'm being very honest with you, and I think it is going to be the same result for Ligue like it was last weekend. I am going for a draw, and I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw between Metz and Ligue. And the last game this weekend is Rennes versus Lens. It's 8th versus 7th. Sorry, Rennes. Both of them had a really good start, in my opinion. They're just 8 and 9 points. They have a 1 point difference. So it has been a sort of a relatively good start for both of them. Rennes, they drew last weekend against Lens, a 2-2 draw. Quite an entertaining game. They are the home side, so they would want to get a win and get above Lens. Lens, on the other hand, a massive win against Nice. That 3-0 win has really helped them come up the table. I think it will be a fun game of football, and I'm expecting goals in this game. I have this slight feeling, to be very honest with you. This is a game which could be quite an entertaining one, and could go either way. It's a very, very tight one to call. Most of the quite a lot of these fixtures this weekend are very tight to call, and just another one. It's where it's a hard one to predict. I am going for a draw, but I would not be surprised if Lens at the away side end up winning this game. But I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going for a draw, but I'm going for an entertaining draw. I'm going for a 3-3 draw between Rennes and Lens. And that is it. These are my predictions for match day 6 in Liga. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.